miners dig up what they believe are two nearly complete mammoth skeletons near Dawson City. A crew of miners working outside Dawson City, Yukon, has unearthed a pile of fossils that appear to be the nearly complete skeletons of two woolly mammoths. Throughout the day I was picking bones, ribs, teeth, all kinds of things, said Trey Charlie, a placer miner at the Little Flake Mine on the Indian River. It's probably one of the best days I've had working. It's so much fun to discover these things. Charlie and a co-worker were working with excavators about 2 weeks ago, moving mud at the mine site when they found a tusk. We were amazed by the size of it and how heavy it was, so we brought it back to the yard, he said. Another scoop with the excavator had bones falling out of the bucket, Charlie said. That's when the crew stopped work to search for more. Placer miners in central Yukon have been digging up Ice Age mammal skulls, bones, tusks and fossils for more than a century, essentially, since the Klondike Gold Rush. Mammoth bones are relatively common. The large, furry elephants roamed Alaska and Yukon until about 12,000 years ago. Charlie said the bones his crew found last month appear to add up to two almost complete skeletons with teeth, ribs, legs and more. The Yukon government has now taken possession of the bones for further study after the mine called them to report the discovery. Miners are legally required to report such finds to the territorial government. Scientists who have been studying a rare, perfectly preserved ancient wolf pup found in Yukon are sharing some of their findings for the first time. The 57,000-year-old animal, discovered in the gold fields of Yukon in 2016, is the most complete mummified grey wolf of this era ever found. She's just so complete, said Julie Meach, a vertebrate paleontologist from Des Moines University in Iowa and lead author of the new study published this week in the journal Current Biology. She's so amazing. She's so intact. I mean, she even has her fur. Everything is there. The researchers were amazed to discover even the pup's internal organs were intact. We can just learn so much more from an animal with skin and fur and organs than we can with just bones, Meechan said. This is kind of incredible that we can get all this detail from her when she lived so long ago. Through a variety of testing and analysis, the team of researchers was able to determine the pup, named Zer, which means wolf in the local indigenous Han language, was just 7 weeks old when it died in its den. Genetic testing also revealed the wolf is not related to wolves found in North America today. We learned she is very closely related to Ice Age wolves in Europe, said Yukon paleontologist Grant Zazula. And that's really interesting because that tells us that there was a major population change that happened in North America with grey wolves at the end of the Ice Age. The scientists say they were most surprised to discover something about the diet of the little wolf. The animal's last meal wasn't bison or caribou or muskox as they had expected of the carnivore. It was fish. Based on the analysis of chemical components in her hair and other tissues, we were able to determine what her last meal was, said Zazila. He says looking at things such as the ratio of carbon and nitrogen preserved in the tissue, it was clear the pup was eating aquatic species, most likely salmon. Culturally significant. Zer is significant not only to the scientists but also to the Trundquetchin First Nation in Yukon. We are connected to this wolf pup, says Debbie Nagano, the director of heritage for the Trundquetchin and a member of the First Nations wolf clan. Soon after the initial discovery, Zer was brought back to Dawson City for a special blessing ceremony with First Nations elders and was given a name. Nagano says before the animal went off for analysis, the First Nation worked with the scientists to ensure Zer wouldn't be treated just as a specimen. That site is quite important to us, Nagano said. There is a connection to it. We don't want it to be just handled in the view of, it's just an artifact. We really want it to be able to have the respect behind it also. Not in the way it's respected physically, it also need to be respected spiritually. Nagano says the discovery of Zer has also helped improve the relationships between the First Nation and scientists, and also with the government and the mining community. This wolf pup is bringing us together in a good way, that we can all learn from it, she said. That part is a good way to be thankful for this wolf pup. Rare find. For their part, the scientists are also grateful to the placer miner who first discovered Zer, in 2016. Neil Lovelace came across the animal thawing out of the permafrost. I just saw this thing that didn't quite look right, he recalled. I picked it up and to be honest, I thought maybe it was like like a puppy or something, that had fallen down the mine shaft. He put the remains in a gold pan and later in a freezer until a paleontologist arrived to have a look. The scientists say it's that kind of collaboration with the mining community that makes their research possible. Ice Age remains are commonly dug out of the permafrost in Yukon, bones of mammoths, bison and horses, but a complete specimen like Zer is very rare, at least for now. Meach hopes there may be more to find. As global warming continues to thaw the permafrost, one silver lining is that other exceptionally preserved frozen mummies will likely be discovered, providing new windows into the past, she said. Description of historic place. Commissioner's residence is a 2.5-story building situated on land-escaped grounds that face the Yukon River, in Dawson. Set on a platform frame, the classically inspired building is clad in wood siding and is ornamented with simple wood trim. It features a temple-fronted facade supported on giant columns and wrap-around verandas on the first and second levels. The elegant central entrance is approached by a wide flight of steps. The designation is confined to the footprint of the building. Heritage value. The Commissioner's residence is a classified federal heritage building because of its historical associations, and its architectural and environmental value. Historical value. The building is closely associated with the exercise of Canadian sovereignty in the Yukon and the establishment of a long-term federal presence there. Once called Government House, the Commissioner's residence was built and used as the official residence of the Chief Executive of the Yukon Territory. As such, it is closely associated with the early political affairs of the Yukon and the individuals who played a major role in them, most notably, George and Martha Black. Architectural value. The original building has evolved from a predominantly classical but eclectic design, through a dramatic and unique period as a Jacobean, gingerbread confection to the simplified, cohesive, well-proportioned composition that exists today. The interior is also eclectic, a restrained expression of classically inspired features and the influence of the arts and crafts movement. Built in 1901 to designs by Thomas Fuller, the building's foundation was designed in such a way that the permafrost conditions in the area would not be disturbed and instability would not occur. The manner in which the Commissioner's residence reinforces the historic character of Dawson Historical Complex National Historic Site of Canada is evidenced by its prominent location in the heart of Dawson, south of the main business district in the Government Reserve Area, its spatial and historical relationships with buildings within the complex including the former administration building, post office and the courthouse. The Commissioner's residence was built in 1901 to designs by Thomas Fuller, as the official residence of the Commissioner of the Yukon Territory. In 1903 a large veranda was constructed across the front and two sides. It was badly damaged by fire in 1906 and after substantial renovations was reopened in 1908. A second-story sunroom was added to the annex in 1914. In 1916 it was closed and ceased to serve as the official residence. In 1950 the building was acquired by the Sisters of Charity and operated as a home for the aged until 1963 when it closed once again. It was acquired by Parks Canada in 1973 and stabilization work has been undertaken periodically. The Environment Canada Parks Service is custodian of the building.